Hi, my name is Amy Reynolds, and I'm currently a student at the University of Montana Western, and this video is being produced as a critique for my child psychology class on an article that I wrote or read about a study done measuring children's cognitive restoration after having recess time in a natural environment as opposed to a built environment. So I retrieved my information from Frontiers in Psychology. The research topic was the natural world and as a resource for learning and development from schoolyards to wilderness. It was posted October 2nd, 2018. It covers what they're calling green breaks, the restorative effect of school environments, green areas on children's cognitive performance. Psychological restoration can be provided by specific environments, particularly natural environments. Studies report a positive effect of nature on human beings in relation to psychological recovery from attention fatigue and restored mental resources. So 2 studies were done that hypothesized positive effects of recess time spent in a natural versus a built environment. And they were measuring cognitive performance and perceived restorativeness using standardized tests. This was a quasi-experimental design, and in study 1, they measured sustained and selective attention, working memory, and impulse control before and after a morning and afternoon recess time spent in a natural environment as well as a built environment. The study was done on 4th and 5th graders, and in both of the studies, for study 1, they performed the tests or experiments playing a game that was similar to basketball. So they included physical exertion in that study. On study 2, they did manipulate it a little bit. They only did an afternoon study with 5th graders only, and they were measuring the positive effect of free play in recess time in a natural environment. So these children were basically allowed to roam around in the natural environment and choose how they were going to spend their recess time, as opposed to a game. It was measuring the sustained and selective attention and perceived restorativeness. Okay. So the first test that was conducted, or the measurement, after these experiments were done, was called a Bell's test, and it measured specifically the selective and sustained attention. On a piece of paper, there was black drawings of different symbols. There was about 280 different symbols with 35 bells embedded in them, and they had to basically find the 35 bells, or as many as they could, and circle them in 120 seconds. The next test was for working memory. It is called the Digit Span Test, measuring attention and concentration connected to information maintenance in working memory. So in this test, they had to listen to a tape and repeat or write down in order a series of numbers, and they had to write them forwards and backwards, but only after hearing the stop signal. The next test, measuring the impulse control, was measured by a test called Go, No Go, and it was designed to measure their ability to inhibit a dominant response. And they had a marker and a piece of paper with 20 different items on it that they were supposed to basically make a path with dots. They listened to a tape, and when they heard the go sound, they could make the dots or make the path. But if they heard the no-go sound, they had to control their impulse to make the dots. The last test was measuring perceived restorativeness, in which they had, 8 different questions with an 11-point scale, ranging from not at all to completely. Asking them questions basically of how they felt about if they felt restored after being in the natural environment. So on the results, there was a significant difference for the Bell's test after spending it in a natural environment, and not a significant difference after spending it in a built environment. On the working memory test, only in the natural environment, again, did they show a significant difference, improvement. Then, let's see. On the impulse control test, they actually did not see a significant difference, whether it was in the natural environment or the built environment. So that test did not show any improvement. But on the received restorativeness test, they did show a significant difference in how they felt after being in a natural environment as opposed to built one. So as far as my questions, if any of my questions were answered through reading this article, so far of what we've read in our chapters, I did not get my questions answered that I've asked. My questions were more focused about aggressive behavior. I did experience quite a bit of aggressive behavior last year as a para, and so I'm deeply concerned about this subject, and I did get some training and learn some things about how to reduce aggressive behavior, but I am interested in learning more. However, the subject got brought up for me to research this specific thing about the natural environment because I am going into earth sciences, and I do plan on bringing more of a natural environment into the classroom. My ideas were that by bringing stress reduction and plants that were, producing quality oxygen, that I might be able to assist the children and the students in their cognitive development and having the attention span to do so, being in a more safe and relaxed environment. So I'm pretty sure if I did a little more digging, I could probably find articles related to that subject. Let's see. And how it was related to our chapters and what we've learned in our class so far. I'm basically relating it to the social emotional learning programs that we talk about in one of our chapters. Improving self-awareness, social awareness, responsible decision-making, self-management, relationship management. I do believe that spending some time in natural environments can help improve these statistics as well as cognitive development. I want to focus on increased prosocial behaviors, decreased conduct problems, less emotional distress, improved academic grades, and improved achievement test scores. So that is what I am relating this article to, and helping me foster that. All right, and that's it. Thank you.